my there she is. Go ahead, Jessica.
Oh, there we go.
Awesome.
Jessica, okay, get us started. Thank you. I'll lower my hand so I don't look like I'm still holding. I have a couple of questions. So, probably our biggest one is archiving. So we have a pretty substantial backlog of our document in our document library.
Okay.
And we're wondering how we could go about like kind of doing a big archive. Do I have to click on each individual one? I mean, we have like years we would like to archive.
Yeah, if you're not putting them in an archive folder, then yeah, unfortunately, you're gonna have to click on each individual one. It's because we don't. I mean, we really don't have an archive function in the document library because it itself is kind of considered an archive. So it just depends on if you initially upload all these old documents to a folder that you call archive, then you're all set. But if not, then yeah, unfortunately, you're going to have to move each one.
Hey, Michael, can you record?
I am. It's recording.
Perfect. Thank you. Yep.
Okay. Well, that
I'm not
answers
used
that
to
question.
I'm not used to not seeing Michael on camera. I can hear him.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Jessica. You had another one?
Yeah, I have another one about the newsletter. We cannot find our actual landing page for our newsletter. We can link to, we've been able to link to it, but where does it actually live?
Which chapter are you with?
We're with the Washington State.
Okay. I'm just getting over to your website. I'm going to share my screen here. All right, let me get logged in. And you're sending your newsletters out how? Is the newsletter the email itself, or is there a document within the newsletter?
It says it's on a custom page when I go to look at it, but I can't actually find it. Like if I was on if I went to just our homepage, I cannot find it. I can find it this way, just how you're doing it.
So this is the page, huh?
Yeah. But where does that page land if like I was going to tell a chapter member?
It doesn't look like it's available on any of your menus. So let's put it on the menu. So if you go to Control Panel, Website, and then Menus, and then you can determine, if you want it to go under your About menu, maybe, then you would edit the About submenu. And you could add the newsletters page to that submenu, just like that. And then if you go to About, then there it is.
Wow, that was easy.
I can make it more difficult. Do you want me to do that?
Michael, can you just talk a little about the difference between the public versus the member menu?
Yeah, it seems to me like we were talking. Oh yeah, the public versus member. Like if you're in the menus, there's two menus always by default. Member menu, and it's visible to members. So you have to be logged in order to see that particular menu. And then there's the public menu, and you have to be not logged in order to see the public menu, which is why you see them as different. So if I were to look at the public menu, you only have a few options here, maybe the same, I don't remember. But if I log out, then this menu is going to change completely. So in this case, About, let's see, is it on it's also on the public menu, About is. So since we added that to About and I log out,
still be able to, people should be able to view it.
It's still going to be there. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Those are my two big questions.
Okay.
Does anyone else have a question? Raise their hand. Lisa.
Yes, good morning. Here with the Kansas chapter. We're pretty new, as you guys are aware, to ClubExpress. And I just have some specific questions around emailing. Right now we have a hosted site.
That's not the
linked.
one. Which Kansas?
Yeah. It's not live yet.
Oh, it's the old. Okay. What is the is it
Let me drop it.
kppp.clubexpress.com? Yeah,
Yes.
that's it. Okay, got it.
It's KAPP. Yeah, 3 Ps. Kind of different. Right now we have a hosted website, Squarespace, where we have
Mhm.
linked a Gmail address that's not accessible by the chapter. We don't have any other email addresses set up through a domain or anything.
Okay.
And so in working on the site, under the Contact Us public version,
Yep.
there is some contacts, and that's fine. I was wondering with this send us an email, what email address is used for that
Oh, under here.
box? Yeah, that one. If somebody
So-
were to use that,
Yeah, if they use the general information link, then that is found under chapter. You go to name and description, and it is down here. It is phone, fax, and email. It's this email address.
okay, so I can change that. But I'm wondering, since I'm wanting to set up this info@cap.org email address. But since it hasn't been set up, do you have any recommendations on how to just begin that process, or maybe some workarounds that chapters have used?
You really can't do it until we have the domain pointing to the new website. Once your domain is pointing to the new website, you'll be able to set that up. In the meantime, though, you can still, like, if you want to add it to titles, oh, I see you did. So you can put in info@cap.org, and that's fine.
Okay.
It won't go anywhere. It's a dead email address until the domain gets set up.
Okay, all right. That's a huge help then. Thank you very much.
Sure. Yep.
Ginny, you have your hand up?
Uh-huh. Hi. Good morning, Michael. Washington State chapter again of NIGP.
Yeah.
I have a couple of clarification questions on the photo albums.
Okay.
So I know that members can upload their photo album, but I guess so we use the photo albums.
Yep.
I've actually uploaded quite a few things in there. If we create one as an admin and we want folks to add to it, they can. Can the members do that? Let's say for the upcoming forum, if I wanted them to say, go ahead and add, or is that just not a thing?
It's the only way to do that would be to make them a coordinator on that photo album. So
Okay.
if you have like 2 or 3 people who are going to be shooting photos, that's great. And all you're going to do is you're going to go, let's say it's going to be the 2023 fall conference, which I know it's not, but then you're going to click on this icon that looks like 2 little people.
Mm-hmm.
And you just add them as a coordinator, but you're only adding them as a coordinator on that photo album, not on the entire module.
Okay. So then what is the purpose of having the member have their own profile to upload photos? If is that just going to live in their profile and that's it? Like nobody else has access?
Not necessarily, no. If you, when you go to the photo album module, I'm going to switch to view mode and look at the photo albums, you're going to see, the organization photo albums, and down below, you're going to see the member photo albums that they allowed to make public.
Okay. So it is a lot. They have to. Can you show me how you set that up from the member profile that it would allow it to jump in here?
Yeah.
Because that was my fear, is
sure.
that it's not ever going to show up.
I'm going to go to photo albums. It says allow member photo albums. Yes. Okay. Let's change that too. We're going to change that to 2024.
Court judgment so people would be deported more quickly, and the idea was to give them less incentive to come in the first place.
Okay, so if we look at a member's profile, let's just pick on this person here. And then they're going to go into their profile and click on photo albums here under your website functions. And then they add the photo album, and then they can say whether it's visible or not. And by visible, that means visible in the photo albums module.
Okay. Great.
And
So
do they want it to be visible to members only or to any warm body who comes to the website?
Gotcha. Okay, great. That's
and that's
super
assuming that the photo albums module is also available to any website person or to members only. So their visibility here cannot override the global visibility for the photo albums module.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. We'll double check both settings on that. Okay. That sounds great. Yeah, Yep, I think that was a big one. I'll come up with something else, but yeah, thank you for
Okay.
that.
Sure. Yep.
Roger, you have your hand up.
Hi, everyone. Roger from Bristol, Connecticut, Public Purchasing Association of Connecticut. We are new
PPAC.
users,
Yeah.
and I'm now struggling with actually how to manage payments that are coming in from my members. And I've got two weird situations, and I'm just curious to see how anybody else potentially would have handled these. The first one is seemingly straightforward. I have a person that created two registrations, and then they sent me a check for one of them.
Is this an event registration or is this membership?
No, this is membership.
Okay.
So I don't know why they created two memberships, but they did.
Because they forgot their password from the first one.
Maybe. So now I have two. Can I delete one of them?
Sure. Yeah. Let's, what's the last name?
It's Piper, Pieper.
Pie. There we are. I just see one.
Well, there's one that I posted as paid.
Yeah, but I only see one that's spelled as Pieper.
So there's invoice record 1016 and invoice record 1017. And I can't see, that's awfully small here.
Member number 31.
Yeah.
So if I go back here, I see member number 31. I'm not seeing any other Pipers here. Maybe did I spell it wrong?
No, you spelt it right. So maybe can I share my screen and I'll show you?
Yeah, let me stop sharing here.
And let me just make sure I know how to do that. Let's see.
Up in the upper right corner, right before it says leave.
Share. There it is.
There you go.
That's the one. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah, that's the same member. See, they're both member number 31. So I see.
Doubled
That's
up,
not two
yeah.
memberships. I see.
Correct.
Okay.
How do I get rid of one of them? One of them, I actually recorded his check that he sent to me. But
Okay,
one of
that's
them,
fine.
I'm not going to do that.
Sure, yeah. Go click on the pencil to go into his pro. So go into People Manager.
People Manager. Okay. And search for his
Search for
name.
him. Yep. And then click the pencil. And then go to Transaction History. And you'll see the unpaid one. You can just click the trash can to delete it.
Ah. Okay.
So what happened? Did he send in a check?
He did.
Yeah, that's what happened. So when the person who received the check went to record it, they renewed his membership again instead of just applying the payment to the renewal he already had, or the renewal that was already there.
Okay. So this might be the answer for my other question that I have then. I have a user that created a membership. We have two different tiers of membership. They created a membership invoice in here for one type of membership, but sent me a check for the other.
Okay.
Can I modify the invoice to reflect what it is that they actually sent me the check for?
No, what you'll do though is cancel that invoice and renew their membership using the correct member type. So then it will generate a new invoice for the correct amount. And then you'll be able to apply it. So what you'll do is you'll go to, find them in Control Panel or in People Manager.
Okay. Yep. And then look at
And click the pencil. Yep. And then go to Transaction History. Get rid of that because I'm assuming that's the one that's the wrong amount.
That's the one that's wrong.
Okay, go ahead and click the trash can. Now go back to People Manager. And where you see the black circle?
Yep.
Click that. And that'll start the renewal wizard. And the very first page of the renewal wizard is where you're going to select the correct member type for them.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then make sure that expiration date is correct.
Yep. Okay. Now, I actually do have a call in for the person to confirm which one she really wanted. So
Okay.
it's possible that she just wanted the $50 membership and sent me 175 or vice versa, whatever. Or maybe I don't know what she did, but whenever I recreate it, I'll create it correctly.
Okay. Sounds good.
So that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Roger, could
Stop
you
share.
stop sharing? Yeah, perfect.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you. Diana, you have your hand up.
Hi, good morning. This is Diana. I'm with the DFW chapter in Texas. I am new to this website and I have a questions. Yes, I have pictures that the resolution needs to be adjusted. Not this one, and so I need
Alright.
some help to see how I can, lower the resolution and so I can make it prettier.
Well, you have to start with images that are 1600 pixels wide by
Okay.
400 pixels tall. So they're going to be very wide, very short images. And you're
Okay.
going to edit them outside of our tool to get them to that size. And the
Okay.
problem you may run into is
This one.
Yeah, I see. It's very blurry. So
Yeah.
the problem is it looks like you're starting with a pretty low resolution image as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can't add pixel data where there is no pixel data, right? I mean, you see it on cop shows all the time, but it's fake. So you really can't
Okay.
do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a really good graphics editing program, you can probably get in and use like a smoothing tool or some sort of a sharpening tool, but
Mm-hmm.
you may not be happy with the results. But the problem is that the data for the image just isn't there. So that's why you want to start with high resolution images and then crop them down to 1600 by 400, and then they'll work in here very well.
Okay. So outside of the website.
We do have an editor built into the website, and we're going to go over it during forum. But if you go into web graphics,
Uh-huh.
and let's say you want to edit one of these, this icon here is the image editor.
Mm-hmm.
And if you bring it up, you'll be able to do some rudimentary editing. It doesn't do a lot of editing, but there's some editing functions you can do within it. You can crop, you can resize, and things like that.
Yeah, I tried that, but it didn't
Yeah,
work.
and it's because you're trying to make it bigger, but you're starting with a small image and trying to make it bigger, and it really,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to be happy with the results.
Can I create some type of like a background or something?
Well, we don't, not in our editor. You'd have to create it outside of our tool. So like use Canva or something like that.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Tessa.
Hi, good morning. I'm Tessa Goda, Portland, Oregon, and we are with the Columbia chapter. And we are just going to be launching our website this week.
Nice.
And we're trying to figure out the best way to set up our membership. I'm the membership director. And normally how we have it is like the agency will pay for the members. We have a number of agencies that all belong to our chapter. And so I've heard about this, the primary and then the secondary.
Right.
However, if an agency, let's say an agency pays for Jane in February and then Jane leaves and goes to a different agency, normally that we would keep that we call them like a vacant spot or a slot open because the agency has paid for that. And then if the agency had a new person that came in and filled that position, then that new person wouldn't have to pay for it because it was already paid for the year by the agency. So how do we do that? How do we set those up so that money can kind of stay with a slot rather than an individual?
What you can do, and this is there's pros and cons to the different approaches, but what you could do is when that person leaves the agency, go in and edit the profile and remove their first name and last name and just put like, I don't know, to be determined or whatever you want, just to indicate that it's a placeholder membership. And in that case, what happens is the history of the previous person stays with the membership. So if let's say Jane Smith leaves the agency, but Bob Fribber comes in and you're going to put his name in there. The problem is that now Bob Fribber's history includes Jane Smith's event history, renewal history, and that kind of stuff. It may be fine because you're doing it slot based, right? So maybe it doesn't matter because you're managing slots. Whereas we manage memberships. So the other option would be to disconnect that membership from the agency and move the membership to the new agency, and then all the history goes with them. But that would not maintain that paid slot, right? So it's something you almost have to keep in the back of your mind that, that the city of Portland has already paid for this slot for this member. So when they come in, you can just mark it as paid through a separate system or delete the transaction like we were doing with the previous gentleman. So it just depends on whether if you really want to do slot management, then there's a little extra work you're going to have to do. And keep in mind that the history is going to stay with whoever the new person is. But if you want to do member management, then you're going to move the membership. Does that make sense? Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah. So that does, I think that makes sense. So
Okay.
that if we did the second one, it would stay with the primary, secondary type setup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
Sean, your hand is up.
Yeah, I'm going after Tessa. We have questions.
Yeah. Which chapter are you with?
I'm with the same chapter as Tessa. So if you could keep
nice. Okay.
the screen up, that'd be great. So one question is, and I think you reviewed this a little bit earlier, is we've uploaded our bulk. We bulk loaded them, and we haven't gone to the next step of bringing them in. But we had some I'm gonna say duplicates. Like Tessa and I had duplicates because we send out invites to all the people that work on our web team, like the board. So I changed their on the duplicate ones. The way I've been finding them is you can look them up by looking up the name loaded, like because the first name was bulk and the last name was loaded.
Okay.
And we're not sure how to manage these.
Well, what do you want to do with them? Do you want to keep them, or I would think you probably wouldn't.
No, we want to get rid of them, I think, because one of the things is Tessa has one of these, and the username, we can't figure out how we can change the usernames.
Yeah, that's one of the things admins cannot do is change a username. That's the only only the user can change their username.
Right.
But here's what you do. If you don't want this one anymore, click on the word bulk loaded, choose drop, and just say duplicate.
Okay.
And then delete pending membership transactions. There aren't going to be any, but it's just good practice.
Okay.
And then click save, and then they'll be dropped.
So if we drop all of these, we were running into an issue that we wanted to change someone's username, and we couldn't because it was associated with one of these bulk ones.
Yeah, you can't. Well, and the bulk ones are, it's a weird algorithm. Basically, it's the first 3 letters of the first name and the first letter of the last name followed by an index number. So the chances of having a duplicate should be small. But if it happens and you really want to use that, you'll have to send me an email because I'll have to make the change on the back-end database.
Okay. I think that answered one of our questions, didn't it, Tessa? Or many of our questions?
Yeah, no, I think so.
So Michael, we have a question in chat about how, can you review how to change the banner images on the homepage?
So we're talking about these,
The
the
Yeah,
slider
that's my
images?
Yes, those. Understanding. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So these are the ones where they really need to be 1600 by 400 pixels. So they need 1600 wide by 400 tall. They need to be relatively high resolution. Once you have them, you're going to go into the website tab and go to web graphics, and you're going to upload them here. So just click on add web graphic, upload them. And then once they're uploaded, you're going to grab this. Did you see what I clicked on there? I clicked on the yellow clipboard icon. And you want to grab this URL by clicking on the clipboard. It's going to copy it to your computer's clipboard. You're going to go to the home page, edit the home page. Okay, and then we're going to go to the slider. We're going to edit the slider. And you're going to paste that URL in here. So wherever you want, if you want to slide 1, 2, 3, 4, you can go up to slide 8. So you can have up to 8 slides on that slider. But you just paste it in. Like I'd copy that clipboard and you just paste it right in there. I'm not going to save this one because I think that was just a random image I picked, but. And then when you click save and then save it and make active, then that new image will be added.
You do
That
have
make
to
sense?
edit the text below as well, right? So
It is a good idea. Yeah, if you want to add, edit the text and edit the call to action, that's a good point. So that information, just going to make this a little bit bigger so we can see, that's all stored down here. So this is the first slide, this is the second slide, this is the third slide, and there's the text for that goes with the slide and the call to action button that you can change.
I would just step in here in terms of that and say that for most of you, I have actually been updating or is still in the process of updating the images that are, if those images were placed by me on your site, I am updating those to do ones that we have purchased just to be sure for copyright reasons that they are ones that we are authorized to use. So the point here is that if you are changing out images or any image on your site, to be completely honest, make sure that you have the rights to use it.
Yeah, that is so important because there are some rather unscrupulous people out there now who are searching websites for illegal use of images or unauthorized use of images, and they are getting attorneys involved with cease and desist orders and asking for compensation for the use of, for the unauthorized use of the image. So you don't want to get into that. Just use images that you're authorized to use. Take your own images, whatever you can do.
So I'm just going to jump in here as well, just to do infomercials here. So just to let everybody know, if you didn't attend or if you attended the training that we did on the 14th of June about communications, there is a recording of that. It is in our YouTube library. I'm happy if you want me to send you the link, just let me know. I'm happy to do that as well. Also, I sent an email, we advertised in the chapter newsletter last week about Michael coming to Forum and the sessions that he will be conducting in person at Forum. I will put a link to a registration page. If you are interested in attending any of those sessions, we would like for you to let us know just so we can plan for appropriate seating. And then we have a lunch and learn, which offers box lunches, and we need to know all that information. So I will put the link to that registration page in chat. So just to let you know, but there's all kinds of training sessions that we will be doing in Forum, and that information is on that registration page. So Ginny, you have your hand up.
Yeah. So Washington chapter of NIGP again. Quick quick question. We did do a survey. Are you back? Yes. So I think I accidentally created a menu from the top there. You can see surveys, Michael, but really I
Oh, yeah.
need what's more on the back end, which is what you're showing. So thank you for that. As far as results, because we currently have SurveyMonkey, and then we're trying to see, hey, maybe we should switch to ClubExpress because it's free. You kind of showed in the previous session, how to kind of build one. So we did create the one, but can you kind of show like what kind of reports we can actually run? Now
Yeah,
that
there's
we
a couple
have,
of there's a couple of different options. So if we click on the barcode, you get like quick results. So if you're just looking for the results from one person, you can click on little icon and find out what they put in, how they filled out the survey. You can also export response details. So you're going to get a report of all of their responses, and it'll be, a categorized report. So that's kind of handy. But then if we go back to here and click on the reports icon, we can also get, just some information like the survey response, the list of survey respondents, and then formatted responses if you want formatted responses with no names as well, because you just want to be able to distribute it and say these are the responses we got without identifying anybody. You can do that.
okay. So
So those are
nothing
some
really
options.
not
Then
visually as pretty.
right. Yeah, it isn't, but that's
It's data.
we're dealing with developers who are more database guys than they are pretty,
Okay, got it. Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
But you can also do an export. I just did the export. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Okay, but the export is it's a CSV file. Let's see if I can share that. I'm going to share the CSV that is downloaded. Okay, do you see that? So I did the export from the survey itself, and this is what I got. So I got anonymous. If it wasn't anonymous, who filled it out, and then some of the feedback that they provided from the survey results.
Okay. So if we want to format this, I mean, we'll have to just do it on our own, like a, pivot
Yeah.
chart or whatever. Okay.
Yep.
Great. It's free, so that's what you get, I guess.
Well, yeah.
Thank you.
But if you want things to look a certain way, you can certainly send in enhancement requests. You can send them to support. You can send them to me, and I'll get them sent over to the development team and say, hey, we would really like to see this look like this, and maybe have some special information on there. Maybe you want some extra information on there that doesn't. So,
Yeah.
that's how this tool has grown over the years, is just from people
Yeah.
giving us feedback saying, I really would like to see it do this.
Okay. Speaking of feedback, I just want to add this one is I noticed if you can go to forums. Oh, I'm sorry. The actual like the regular forum, not the back end of it. Because
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
where's
I
it?
discovered this just the other day and I was like, wow, I didn't realize that there's actually scroll down the bottom on the ClubExpress administrators. There's like 6,000 posts in there that I could
Yeah,
actually go and learn as well from
absolutely.
other administrators.
But that will only appear if you're a full admin within the website.
Which I am. So
Yeah,
I was able to
regular
see all
users
of
won't
it.
see it. Right.
But I didn't realize this was even existing, and it has so many, like it answered some of my questions, before this meeting. So
Oh, yeah.
just didn't know if anybody else had discovered that on their back end. So yeah, thank you for that.
Yep, you're welcome.
Pass it on to Kaliska, my colleague.
Yeah.
Hello, this is
Kaliska.
Kaliska with OPPA, and I have a question. I am trying to, I basically cloned an event because I was going to edit it for another event, and I'm trying to change the dates. And I think I've asked this question before, but I can't get the date range to change. It won't
Yeah.
save.
Was it a multi-activity event?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. So you have to change. Here's what you have to do. Because there's internal edits
It's the top
that
one.
are, is it the top one? Okay.
Mhm.
There are internal edits within the software that prevents you from making the mistake of putting a date outside of the range of the event itself. So what you need to do is, let's say, what is the latest date of an activity on your event? Oh, you have that. 2000,
No,
2/15, 2025?
I wanted it, I really wanted it to start because we haven't picked a venue for the event yet. So I was going to have it live on July 19th. And then I was going to close it like November 1st, just because I'm not quite sure when we're quite having conference yet.
Okay. So the activities that people are signing up for, what's the date range of those?
Oh, you're right. I need to change it in there, right? First, right?
Yeah, you have to change it here first.
Okay.
And then once you have it changed here, then you can go to activities and items and you can change that. So you basically have to make a very wide range of dates in the basic info just so that you can change the dates here. And then once you change the dates here, you can go back and go back to basic info and make that date range much smaller again.
Okay, cool. So I need to do items and then basic info.
Well, you got to do basic info first, then go to items.
That's where I
change
can't get it
those
to
dates.
change, is on basic info.
So
I can't get
but-
it to register it says I'm out of date range.
Right. It's because your activities currently are set for June of 2024 or whatever you copied it from.
Okay.
So now that that's been set, you can go in, you can change the activities.
Okay.
And then once the activities are changed,
Then I change the basic page.
then you go back and change basic. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And
Once
then
they're outside of that range, or once they're night in
the
a nice
range.
tight narrow range, then you can go back and change basic info so that it's at that range.
Oh, perfect. And then the last session you talked to me about waivers. But I wrote down waivers and how to do it, but I didn't write down where it is in the event
It's
policies. Okay.
under policies, click on
Okay.
the pencil and then release
And then-
agreement. So who's going to sign
Perfect.
it? Yeah. Yeah. And then do you want to use a quick release? Do you want to use the default agreement? Do you want to create your own agreement?
I'll
Most
create
people
our
use
own
a custom agreement. Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
But
perfect.
you
Thank
can
you.
create a default agreement. Like if you're going to use it on multiple events, the same agreement, then
Uh-huh.
just go into the event manager and go to configure, set your event defaults. And then you can set your own agreement, your default agreement here.
Oh, okay.
And it'll pre-populate for any time you turn that option on, it'll automatically pre-populate with this agreement.
Oh, that's great. Awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate your help. Thank you.
Sure. Yep. You're welcome.
Also, Kaliska, just so if it's something that was covered in the previous office hours, we do have recordings of all the office hours on our YouTube channel, so you could go back and take a look if you didn't want to wait until the next office hours. So just to let you
Oh, yeah.
know
No, yeah.
that those recordings exist.
Yeah, I was just
Perfect.
doing it this morning. So.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
All
perfect
right.
then. Yeah,
Thank you.
sure. Donna, you have your hand up?
I do. Hi, everyone. Donna, I'm with Co-op. So I have a question about primary, secondary members. I thought at first I thought, oh, this is a problem that needs to get fixed. But the more I think about it, the more I think it might be a feature that I just didn't understand. So what happened was we sort of have a mix of membership types right now. We have some that are regular members, just individual people, and then some are groups. I had an agency who is set up as the primary secondary relationship, and the person who set up as the primary was able to add 2 new members to his group, and it didn't charge them a new membership fee. It didn't send us an email that they were created. They just appeared as members in associated with his company. So
Right.
Obviously we need to charge them because they're brand
Sure.
new. I guess the first question is Is that normal? Is he supposed to be allowed to do that, or did we set something up wrong?
No,
And
you
then,
want, well, you do want, and I mean, the whole point of this is to take a lot of the administrative tasks off of you guys and put it on them. So yeah, it is designed so that the primary member can add and remove members from their membership. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that if you go into people, go to people options, and you want to make sure that you're charging for membership changes made through the profile. And currently you're
okay,
not. So you want to say yes.
could you please change that and save that, please?
Yep,
'Cause
absolutely.
um, I don't, I don't necessarily have an issue with them being able to set up new members, but we need to know it happened and they need to be charged for them. So,
Absolutely. Yes, no question. And then you are notifying membership director when somebody signs up. And it's kind of something that I know the development team is working on now. Is I don't think we send out notifications if a secondary member is added.
yeah.
And but the nice thing is that now that we're charging for it, you'll get notified when the payment goes through. So you'll say, oh, well, that's a new member, because you'll see the payment information.
Right. Yeah. I think, and again, the problem with this one is that no payment was created, right? Because you were on a
Because
screen with a message that said, that we should be notified when a new
yeah,
member is created after sign up, but before payment. But apparently, the adding a secondary doesn't count as sign up, I guess.
right.
Okay.
And that's something that they're working on. So we have a number of chapters who have asked for this, and it's been submitted, and it's something they're working on. So
Okay. So
yeah,
probably the way I can fix it is just to add manual charges for those
correct.
folks.
Yep.
Since they're already members, they're already approved because we don't have an approval process. I would just need to add a transaction for each person that is
Yep.
equivalent to the membership, and then he would be able to pay us.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
add it to the primary, and then you're going to click on this icon here. It looks like two credit
Okay.
cards. And you'll just say it's a charge and what's it for, and you'll say the dollar amount, the description, adding such and such member plus such and such member, and set it to go to, which one is it? Membership dues.
And if, like, in the interest of tracking the individual people, because they might like leave one day and go to another, whatever, like, should I add one transaction for each person, or should I just add a transaction on the primary members page that is for both?
You
Or can I
could
do whatever?
you can do it even at the secondary level. So if you were to add the charge at the secondary level, the primary still can go in and pay it.
Right,
So
because they're all connected. Okay.
yeah, exactly. So if you want to track it that way, that might be a smarter way to track it then.
Yeah, I'm thinking just for the purposes of if we need to remember that information later, then we would show a transaction for each person and not just a random transaction that's added to the
Yep.
primary member.
It totally makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because as you described before, we're doing the individual member type of tracking. So like if someone leaves their place of business, we don't vacate their existing record. We add their record to their new employer. And I am honestly just manually tracking vacancies because we don't have it happen very often to know,
Okay.
Hey, now somebody left organization A, there's now an opening. Now they've replaced that person. I can add that person, but we don't charge them because they already had a vacancy. It just doesn't quite work the same as the old system, but we can track it. It's like, however many there are a year, it's not difficult to track, right? So at least that's for me. I mean, other groups can do that, however. And then I guess a follow-up question while I'm asking is, when you're doing the primary secondary membership, there is not a way to give the different secondary members different expiration dates. They're all gonna be forced
They're
to, is that correct?
They're always tied to the primary, right?
Okay. Because we have what, I guess, I don't know, we rolling. It's not like everybody renews all at the same time during the year. So I guess we're going to have conversations about like, hey, if we have a secondary member and they add a person halfway through their payment, how are we going to charge them for membership? Are we going to track that, et cetera? And that I guess we're just going to have to make those decisions.
I will throw this out because not many chapters are doing rolling renewals, and that, in fact, I think you're the only one. But under
Really?
renewal expiration settings, you can prorate people's. Oh no, that wouldn't work for that. Oh, that only works for same date. The prorating. Yeah, that wouldn't work because everybody in the membership is tied to the same expiration date. Okay, well, forget that.
Yeah. So you think we're the only chapter that's doing like people renew on different dates? Because that was news to me.
You're the only one I'm aware of.
Okay.
All the ones that I've implemented have all been same date, whether it's mid-year or calendar year.
Okay.
This is Jennifer with the chapter relations manager, and I think you are correct. You were the first I'm hearing almost all chapters do a calendar year renewal. NIGP does anniversary year, what you're doing. That's how we run our membership. But the chapters, almost everybody is on a calendar year.
Okay. So maybe we should be having a conversation because that is going to make this whole, like the primary, secondary is useful, but forcing those expiration dates is going to put a damper on keeping track of all of that for us. And we're going to have conversations about, if they add a new member 6 months through their membership, how are we going to charge them and how are we going to keep track of it and whatever. And maybe we should just be having a conversation about changing the way we're doing it because we're the weirdos.
Well, the nice thing is that, if you're going to charge for mid-year changes, so somebody adds a member mid-year and you're all on the same membership cycle, you're going to see a new option here. So if I were to change this, everyone renews on the same date, you have the option to enable proration. So it's calculated on a daily basis. So it's going to well, if we add it 120 days to run through 365 day a year, the roughly we charge a third of what the membership dues are going to be. If you want to charge prorated membership dues, otherwise they're going to be charged the full dues for the year.
Yeah. And that's, both methods are valid. It's just
it's an option
different conversation.
It is.
Yeah. And we'll have to, okay.
And
thank you.
There is going to be some work but there's going to be work you help you if you decide you want to change to an annual cycle where everybody moves at the same time, because we're going to have to help go in and help you change all the expiration dates because we can do it in mass.
Okay.
And unless you want to do it manually yourself, but nobody wants to do that.
Right. Yeah. We're way far away from that decision because that's a conversation with a whole bunch of stuff. But okay,
sure.
I will stop taking
you got to think
time.
about.
You definitely answered my questions and gave me some useful information to go back to my chapter and talk about. So thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Sean, you have your hand up?
Yeah. Aside from needing a brain transplant, which you can't do, right? We're going live soon, and I am in the place where I'm on the club tab and I'm on the section setup, and we do not have generic email addresses for each of our board members. We just use our work email addresses from each jurisdiction.
Okay.
So is there going to be a problem if I set it up that way? Because that's what I've done.
You can certainly set it up that way. If you want, I don't remember. Who manages your email? Does anybody, or you don't have email managed with your domain?
We don't have any email management.
That's right. Okay, so
yeah, go on.
You'll get 5 email accounts then that you can use. So you can create info @ president @ treasurer @ with your domain if you want, but we can't set those up until the domain is pointing to your website.
Okay.
And like I said, you can have up to 5. If you want more, they're only $5 each per email address per year. So they're pretty cheap. If you end up needing 10, it's only going to cost you $25 a year total to have 10 email addresses.
It's not a lot. Okay, great.
And that is something that sorry, this is Lynn, the treasurer of Columbia chapter. That is something that, as far as a board, we have discussed having those, and that just that now in my brain that there's 5, I think I can pull people over into having our email here.
Yeah.
I've been advocating for that for years.
Okay. I think it's a good step. It adds legitimacy to the email addresses. The only challenge is that, yeah, because they're not live, they're not full email addresses. When somebody replies back, let's say, somebody sends an email to president at, and the person who is the president receives it. If they reply back, they're replying back from their work email address. It's not, they're not replying back from president at. So that's the only drawback. And in order to get that, you'd have to have hosted email, and that's, a completely different animal that we don't provide. You'd have to get that outside of us.
And Michael, if they're planning to launch this week, do they need that to make that decision before then, or can that be something?
You know what? Since they don't have email already, I'm going to set it up automatically with ClubExpress email forwarding. They can set it up whenever they want. If they decide not to, then they don't have to use it. If they decide they want to get hosted email, just reach out to me, and we'll have to make some changes on our end in order to point it to your new email host. But it's not that hard. And if they ultimately decide not to use any email, that's fine too. It's there if they want it.
Okay. Thank you.
We won't be doing hosted email. That won't be happening, but the other is great to have set up. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So do we have any other questions? Anyone? No? Well, we don't have that much. I'm sorry. Was
I was
somebody?
gonna say one. Sorry, this is Lynn again. I'm gonna lower my hand. Quick question, and I don't need this actually to be addressed necessarily here, but I know that right, there's a lot of information in YouTube's and testing, and we aren't going to set up immediately to take payment through the system. But I was wondering if you could direct me to where to titles of YouTubes that are going to have, or titles of the Q&A where there's talking about how to set up that payment process within the system, and how to tie it to your bank account. Yep, using the built-in merchant account. Yay!
Yep, it's
That's the title.
clubexpress.com/merchant account.
Perfect.
So your options are to use the ClubExpress built-in merchant account. We have to set it up for you, but it's really easy to do. You literally are just going to send an email to merchantaccount@clubexpress.com and say, hey, we'd like to set up the merchant account. They'll tell you what they need from you. They'll send you an email back and said, okay, based on what we currently have on your club or your organization, we need these documents. And then you'll send them over, and they can set it up within a couple of days. It's pretty quick.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, and those those fees are like the same as a QuickBooks fee or same as any other Visa fee. So
yeah.
Cool. That is exactly what I wanted. Thank you.
Okay. Yep, you're welcome.
Karen, you have a question.
Yeah, so I've been trying to get some members set up, and whenever I tried to add them, it only would let me select them as primary, and I don't want them as primary, and so I couldn't figure out a way to change them to secondary. So I just got frustrated and I deleted everybody. Is there instructions where the members can go in and just create their own profile and then have it associated with their organization, or we can do it on the back end? Because it's just becoming
Which chapter are you with?
SAPA, San Antonio Public Purchasing Association.
I don't think I pulled that one up yet. So let's take a look. Yeah, so they have to be agency member type. And I'm just going to look at the settings here. Can members add themselves? Yes, they can. So what you're going to do is identify who the primary person is going to be in the membership. That one needs to be created first. Okay, so if we look at, I'm going to go and say member level. I'm just going to choose primary members. So we have a primary member. Let's say it's Guadalupe County, okay, and they're going to add some other members. All they have to do is go into, oh, they're not, they're an individual. They're not an agency.
Yeah, well, let's say like City of San Antonio or Bear County. If we want, so I went in and tried to add them, but like when I tried to add them, it would only give me the option of primary. And so I already have them as a primary.
That's because these are all set up as individual. You have to have an agency. The primary must be an agency, and then you can go into the pencil, click on additional members in your account, and you're going to get this code. So if you want people to add themselves, just send them that code and say, hey, go to the website, go to SAPA, the website, give and enter that code when they sign up for a new membership, and they'll automatically be added as secondary members.
Oh, okay.
But
So
the problem is that the primary must be an agency member type. They can't be an individual member type.
Okay, so like going to City of San Antonio was one of them that I was trying to do that on.
Company, there it is. See, I don't see any print for City of San Antonio.
Yes.
Okay, so there's one that's an expired. That's a secondary. Let's see who the primary is. The primary is Laura Sembrano.
Yes.
Oh no, that's an expired member anyway.
So they have to be current members in order for it to work?
Yeah. Yeah, because they're not going to show up in the search when you try to add them. Like if you're trying to do level changes and you do a search, they're not going to show up because it only shows active members. If they're expired, then they won't show up in the list.
Okay. All right. So, but can they add themselves as an individual and then I can associate them with a particular agency?
You can if you wish. It's yes. What you're going to do is go to member options, level changes, and you're going to say link a solo member to a primary.
Oh, okay.
And then you'll link them. So you'll select who the solo member is, and then you're going to select who the primary member is that you want to attach them to.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Sean, you have your hand up. Is that from before? Did you have a question?
Oh, good. My mic is on. Yeah. Is there anything else I should do today before we go live on Thursday? Just email you when I'm done with.
Yeah, make sure your welcome email is ready to go.
Okay.
Where else? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Just so go to communications, system emails.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no green check mark here. That means you haven't modified it yet. So that means you're using the generic version. Click on the blue envelope icon to send yourself a copy of it. Just put in your email address and click send so that you can see it. What you should see in the email that you receive is all the tags being replaced. If the tags are not being replaced, then something isn't set up properly.
Okay.
And then we can go into more detail.
Okay. Susie was gonna do that, so I'll get with Susie.
Okay.
People. Okay.
Well,
Anything else?
We are at the hour, so I guess that is it. Thank you, everyone. Sean, if you have more questions, you can certainly reach out to Michael and I in terms of prepping you for launch. But we will do this again the second Tuesday in July. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a good rest of the week.
Thanks,
Thank you
Michael.
so
Thanks,
much,
Ronnie.
everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.